What's good, everybody? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson. Back at it again with another episode here on the O'Shea Duke Jackson channel, man. And I got a great collaboration, man, with one of the, he's bigger than YouTube, man. He's been doing this on, so many shows, industry in New York. I mean, my man's a living legend. You gotta love him or hate him. A lot of you niggas hate him, but a lot of us niggas love him. It's the AskNathianiel Lifestyle Coach channel. Nathaniel, man, go ahead and tell them a little bit about yourself for the folks who don't know you and know where you're from and all that stuff.
All right, cool. So listen, shout out to the bro O'Shea, man. It's always a pleasure, man. Definitely a dude that I look up to as well. My name is AskNathianiel. It's funny because the actual concept of AskNathianiel came up because I started a friend of mine is a director in ETL in Atlanta. And, I was like, yo, listen, I want to start going out here and interviewing people in the streets. I want you to follow me, et cetera, et cetera. And he was like, nah, man, you could do that yourself. I'm not going to even do that because I already know how you roll. And I went out to, Upper Manhattan to my Latin communities and to my Italian communities, just a little bit of everything, man. And we just started interviewing people on the streets, doing advice, setting up little things and hubs. So the woman to sit down, we'll give advice and we roll. And, the goal was to empower the woman, but in the concept was to do that. But in event of me doing that, it became a thirst type of channel because, dudes are coming in looking at the woman. But the goal was for women to see how we could acknowledge them as men and how for the men, it was for women to see, men and women to see how approachable the women were. I live in a city where it's just phenomenally a candy store. As I'm talking to you now, I'm literally sitting by here by the Hudson River, right by the VZ Bridge. Brooklyn's right in front of my face. The Freedom Towers. So all this, I'm always looking out, and I map it out. I'm like, yeah, we should go in that area. We should go to little Chinatown. We'll go to Chinatown, Brooklyn, Chinatown, and go down there and meet the ladies. So there's so much of culture here. Living in New York. New York is like the true meaning of the United States, and we just started kicking it, man, and going hard in the streets. And then, then we started doing the fashion shows and doing the advice things. And it just went into a direction that I wasn't expecting because, like I said, the goal was to empower the women and make them feel comfortable around a man, such as a man that's more talkative, such as myself, and the man for them to approach the woman. But again, it went into another direction. I think O'Shea knows about that. Yeah,
man, you got like videos, man, in the millions of views, classics, man, like really asking women of other races, like especially like Dominican women, Latin women, white women, like you asking them stuff I never seen nobody do on an interview. So you definitely a pioneer, man. Like you underrated when it comes to that because I mean, you be doing it with all the ladies for the most part look really good. So that's one thing. You've been doing it for years, man. So I got to give you, a round of applause for that. But you know what I like about you though, right? Because, you're a real New York nigga, man. Like I hear it in the accent and like the whole persona and charisma. Right. And the one thing about you is you do interview all women, but the videos I see that you get a lot is like the Latin American, the Dominican women, right? And like those are some of your best views. And which is interesting because a lot of black men in the manosphere, they like the Dominican Republic, they like Colombia, they like Brazil. But the difference between like you and a lot of the guys is you get a lot of action from those ladies in the States. And there's been somewhat of a conflict. I know Minister Jap, I was talking about him earlier before we came on. Yeah, he been getting into it with the travel guys too. And you got this new thing called Boss Up, right? And I want you to kind of explain that Boss Up and how it kind of relates to what's going on in, guys that can stay in the States and get girls versus guys who are going overseas. What is Boss Up about?
Boss Up is a movement that was actually created because there's an issue here going on in the States. And I know a lot of men tend to get frustrated because the culture promotes so much of, the ballers and the entertainers and all the above, which people don't realize they paved the way. The rappers are paving the way. If you're from ATL, for example, you come to New York, it's not like coming here 30 years ago. A woman will hear a dude's accent and be all over him. I don't care where she's from, because now where I live, which is a lot of Italian women, These women listen to a lot of the music, black women, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's kind of like the things that we gear ourselves away, it's paving the way. So now what happens is, unfortunately, the same thing how my goal was with AskNathianiel and going to the streets and giving people relationship advice. It went over these guys' heads. So the music is creating our ways. The brothers from the 1970s with their game and how they dropped the game on a woman, and it was all about her mind, not her body. All that shit went and flushed down the toilet because now dudes were looking on Instagram, looking at women that wasn't reachable, and then they felt they could go to these different countries and get them. Yeah, you could. 2001, those women were looking like that out there. You go in a brothel and fuck with something really official and come home and wife something official. So the same good looking shit was here with your wife, but you got 20 of them in another country. That was good, but it's changed now. So you figure 20 years later, it's not exclusive no more. A lot of these dirtbags started going across to these different countries late in the game. We're talking like the last 5 years, maybe 7 years. I can't even say that far, but more recent years. And they pretty much caught something that was exclusive in the late 90s, early 2000s. Now everybody's on Instagram. So the game now is, where are these women at? So they were going to these different countries, falling in love with these girls. Number 4 or 5s, maybe 6s. No dime pieces out there left selling no ass. That's definitely gone. So now it's like you see all these women, and it's like, all right, we went out there for playtime in early 2000. We get it. But in New York City, for example, we're going to start with one city where there's a melting pot of every nationality possible. If you don't believe me, the United Nations is literally 15 miles from where I'm sitting, and I'm pushing it. Not even 15 miles, maybe about a 40-minute ride in traffic on a Friday. And you'll see every different nationality is in this city. So all these women are here. So how we did most of our lives, we meet the woman from here, from wherever country she was from. She put us on the game, take us to that country. We learn a lot about it already because we're with the women from here. So there was a difference where you got these polished women because they coming across the seas. We're here in the city. There's no, they're speaking English. There's no type of thing they're trying to really get from you as much because they're here. So it's like influence the brothers to at least meet something official here in the States, in the city. I'll give you an example. If you go to the Bronx right now, and you go tell a Dominican woman, the worst thing you could ever say to a Dominican woman as a black man is hola. Never say hola, none of that. Don't say none of that shit. On top of that, never tell her that you've been to DR before. Never, ever, ever do that. Why? Because she's here. She's not impressed that you've been to a country she don't ever want to go back and deal with because she was poor walking barefooted. So, and she's not impressed because you probably was out there buying ass. So you don't want to tell her that. You're already here with the baddest mommies already. So at the end of the day, she wants to keep you exclusive, and it just works better. But a lot of the guys didn't realize that dudes that were going out there tricking, the game was different. If anybody was going out there in 2004, 2002, back in the days when I was out there, they would know Boca Chica Beach was different. It was a whole different lifestyle out there. It was amazing. It was exclusive, and a lot of dudes wasn't up on it. Sosua, 2004, I was going out there when JetBlue wasn't even flying to Santiago. I believe you had to travel like 2 hours. So it was different because Santiago was more, you see no Americans. That's why we was going out there. You went out there because there was no Americans. But then game changed. So all my exclusive brothers, we were like, listen, enough is enough. These cats don't really got nowhere to go across the seas because all these tricks the game up. So we're like, listen, boss up. Telling the brothers that's traveling, stop complaining about a woman, talk about they're not feminine here. They're not receptive here. That's what it is. They're not receptive because you don't have no game. So come here, boss up, stop complaining, stop being a.
Okay, let me ask you this. Ooh, boy, he coming through with the heat. Cause like I said, man, like you've been to DR. I'm pretty sure. I know probably a few other places. But a lot of people will say, man, like look at a lot of the things that's happening, especially a city like New York, it's big. It's the second, probably it's the biggest city in the nation.
Right.
A lot of people with a lot of money there. It has the second most millionaires in the world and billionaires, except for London. So a lot of those women are, people gonna say a lot of women are feminized. They just want you for your money and stuff like that, and like a lot of those women are entitled, because a lot of women do tend to be a little bit more entitled. So guys are saying, well, you know what? If I deal with a woman more or less in her country, she's still going to be entitled, but she's still going to have more of, you know, her own values. Whereas, you know, a lot of women are kind of brainwashed by the matrix in America. What would you say when brothers talk about like things like that?
Well, that's a great question, because I think one of the main things is a lot of cats got to realize that does exist. But here, this is a city where a woman would be a walking millionaire. You can meet a millionaires ride subways here. So that's just telling you off the top, like, you got celebrities that be on the train.
Right.
Something that people can't even understand, because if they're living outside of the city, how is that possible? Because people love the city, people love the energy, people love the love. So dudes don't realize that in a position like that, where you live in an area where everything is accessible, a woman could be millions, and if your game is tight, she'll with you and build you up. Like, we live in a community where my community alone is like that, because we're outnumbered as men throughout the United States off the rip. So now the fact that now you're 12%, you got to remember, a lot of black people don't realize only 12% of the nation as it is. So we're already limited and exclusive as we go. A lot of dudes is locked up. A lot of dudes are probably married. So there's this abundance of men that's just sitting here, and they don't even realize that all of these women are accessible. Don't believe the fact that if she got more money, or she's got a father that's rich, or she's doing this and doing that. They don't realize that none of that stuff matters here. Let me just move on. None of that stuff matters. So what ends up happening is guys start feeding that thing into their head of this insecurity of somebody not wanting me, and she may not be into myself and my type. And where does that come from? I can't even begin to tell you where would that come from. It has to be something that they probably spoke to somebody, probably didn't learn how to approach a woman, didn't know how to start a conversation. These women here are lonely, and pretty women, especially in the United States, they're the most loneliest, because people are afraid to approach them. They can't even get girlfriends. A lot of these beautiful women in the gym, they're lonely. Nobody wants to talk to them. It's like the prettiest girl feels like she got a booger in her nose sticking out, because everybody's afraid of her because she's intimidating. So that factor is not only a thing through men, it's women too. So knowing that that's the big case, because men want what they want, they don't take time to realize what do you attract. Number one, you could be attractive to a woman that is on Beyonce's level, but what do you attract when you're in the street? Most guys ain't attracting nothing at all, and then that's something you got to check on yourself. So by the time they go across, which is understandable, and they see all these prostitutes say, "Oh my God, you know, I love you. Look how beautiful you are." They're done. So they don't even give themselves a chance here. And in the Mecca of New York City, it's all about trying. You got to jump out the window and just go for it. You can't necessarily look at a situation and think that a woman's just going to pop up and approach you. No, you know, we live in a city. I mean, people getting robbed like anywhere it's happening. Look what happened in Atlanta, Georgia. You know, you walk into a damn, you know, a spa, and dude goes in there and shoot up. So you can't worry about that. But what you do have to realize is that all these cultures are in one nation that people don't take advantage of. So they don't realize how incredible and popping that this nation is. I don't care what state you're from. You can say, oh, you live in South Carolina, there's not that many Dominican women. Okay, so why don't you just take a drive, not a plane, drive to New York City and go out there for the weekend and just walk through Midtown. Walk uptown in Washington Heights. Walk uptown, go through the Bronx and see what I'll show you. You're going to think you're in DR, you know, if that's what you're into. But, you know, see the level of these women that, you know, will deal with dudes from America if you show that you're assertive and not soft and go to it, no matter what you feel and what you look like. But before you think that women are going to be attracted to you, what is it about yourself? You can't say you're your type of woman and these women ain't paying you no mind because you're not really representing and having yourself together when you're out in the public.
So when you say that, let me ask you this, Nate, because you say when a lot of guys don't have game. I mean, and you know, Lucario, he's also a New Yorker. Very similar attitude to you. Y'all are like 100%. Because there's guys who disagree with you, and there's guys who agree with you. Mr. Lucario agrees 100%, like what you said, everything he said.
Where's he from? Brooklyn?
Yeah, he's from, I think, Brooklyn. Yeah, he's a dating coach. He's popular on here, man.
I know who he is. The dark skinned dude. Yeah.
He said the same thing. Shout out to Mr. Lucario. Like, because from a New Yorker standpoint, a lot of brothers from the New York, we have a little debate who got the most game. DC niggas, New York, Cali. But when you say a brother don't have game, because I know New York pickup is like real big. Approaching women is real big in the city. What do you mean when you see a lot of these guys don't have game as a life coach? What do you really mean? Can you explain what having game is?
That's a great question. See, game. See, what people got to realize is like, if you come from an era and you was raised in the 70s or 80s, there was a movement where it was about, the mind over matter. So a lot of times we let that kind of take us over. With a woman, women's are more internal. You can see that from their sexual organs. Like men wear external, penis on the outside, women's vagina's inside. Woman is all about an emotional sponge. If you have a daughter, you've learned that she's watching everything daddy's doing when she's a baby. So it's the same thing once you think she's a baby and you don't think that she's sucking that in because she's listening. So at the time she gets teenager, she realized that daddy was always doing the bullshit. So now she's going to get attracted by a man that's on the bullshit. But if she always seen that daddy was a straight shooter, he was always doing the right thing with mom, showing the love, that's his game. So the presentation is everything. So as an individual with game, it shows a level of confidence. You're able to approach a woman. You're able to approach a woman one-on-one and have a conversation. Having no game is not knowing what to say. For example, a guy could roll up to a woman here and she's walking out the coffee shop. And you could just, matter of fact, in the coffee shop, let's keep it with a dollar and a dream. She's in the front of you, you're in Dunkin' Donuts. You see a fine looking woman in front of you. You know what I mean? You're not in the bar, because in the bar, you're going to spend a lot more money doing this. Just something average with a couple dollars, so I ain't got to hear nobody say, oh, whatever. But she's at the donuts. She's ordering her order. You hear that the order's, I don't know, $7, $8, whatever. You tell her, I'm talking about some shit that really happened. You tell the cashier, don't worry about it, I got that.
Right.
And the woman was like, oh my God. Nobody has ever done anything like that for me before. The cashier is all twisted up like, oh my God, that was so nice. Meanwhile, you know what I'm saying? You just grab the tab, throw that shit on mine, I'm good, whatever. And then she's like, I just want to thank you so much. Fine. I mean, because with fine, like when you deal with the level of fine here, it's gonna show them something beyond. You can't holler at nobody like that in the club unless your game is tighter. Now you got to be able to talk beyond. You got to, your dress code got to be right. You got to be able to talk over the music. You got to be able to make sure your breath is right. Make sure your hair is right. Make sure if you don't have no hair, make sure everything is crispy. But now you got to remember the competition factor is different because now you're in a prime location where everybody got game, right? Everybody's spitting. That's what we call it, spitting. So in the Dunkin' Donuts spot, you don't require much and you give a bigger impression by this woman saying, wow. And you don't do this to get a phone number. You just do this to strengthen your game. Like, you know what? You left an impression, you out of there. And then, it's the same situation where you may go to see a young lady and just coming out of a store. Like, I know you didn't just go out there and go get you something and buy me anything. And she like, oh, I'm at work, I'm on my break. And it's like, okay, that's all right. Next time you make sure you cop me something. Because now you're bold. She likes that. You're showing charismatic mode. You're showing charisma.
Okay.
These are all areas how you strengthen your game. So your game is your fearless approach. And you're able to give an impression because mentally she's stimulated. When this woman went into the car, who knows? She probably went in there with her husband.
Right.
Let's just say, but you're on her mind. She'll never forget that. Why? Because she just clearly said, her expression and her response showed, nobody has done nothing like that for me before. And that was with $8, you know what I mean? So you're able to show a couple of dollars. You're able to, without showing a lot of money, you can flash your money with a young chick and play that game. Or she could just be with you because you crispy and she just thinks, just being around you is enough. Some women just want to be around a lit dude like that. So a
Right.
lot of times what people don't realize, a ladies' man type of individual doesn't mean he's a good looking guy. There's good looking dudes I know that don't get no chicks, but your game is what you portray, what's your hook. You know, a woman may have a hook because her fat butt is a hook, but the guy's hook got to be his level of how he conversates with a woman and talks and finesse, and they love that, the protection and knowing like, yo, listen, you going to your car? You need it, you know what I'm saying? You at the gas station? How you pumping your own gas? Hold on, let me get your gas for you. Go in the car, I got you. You don't trust me? You think I'm gonna add extra gas? What I'm gonna do? Take the pump, put it in my car, sit in the car. They like shit like that. You know what I mean?
That's definitely that New York shit right there. That's definitely some New York shit. Yeah, I like that one. Like, you know, you came out the store. Like, I know where mine's at. That's definitely definitely a New York type of approach. But yeah, man, you drop a game, man. I'm telling you, man, Uncle Nate. You know what I'm saying? He got a little something for y'all, man. You brothers out there. But let me ask you this, man, because you had a recent video. You know, I got to ask you about it. Yeah, this video, man, I didn't watch it, but you know, your titles is crazy. And what you said was, because you do got some good ones, man. Like, you know, why older women, you know, spend the most money on stuff like that. But you talked about Black passport. I won't say the whole thing. Want Latin women. I'll put it like that because Latinas don't want them here. So let me talk about this, right? Because a lot of brothers, man, you know, like I'm from Cali. We didn't have you got Hispanics, but we know, like, you know, where I'm from, you know, Hispanics and Blacks don't really mix as much. You know what I'm saying? Whereas I know, like in New York, you know, Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, just like all love. You know what I mean? Y'all like grow up together and stuff like that. Yep. So it's a little different. So the culture in the West Coast is, you know, a lot different. You know what I mean? But let me just kind of get back to this. You know, as far as you know, a lot of brothers who want to approach Latina women in the States, do you think that a lot of guys are going to Dominican Republic just leading with the fact that I'm an American? I got, you know, because I've heard guys say that, you know, women treat me better overseas. I finally get the respect that I deserve. You know, I heard brothers say that, you know, when they leave Brazil, they are crying in tears. They have real tears on the plane back home. When you hear stuff like that, what do you think? And is there a truth, or are these guys leading with their passports and their wallets, in your opinion?
See, that's shout out to the women across the seas, overseas, because that's their game. You know, that's their game of survival. That's their game for the come up. That's their game to get money. Even if a woman is struggling or not. I mean, why? Who wouldn't want extra money? It's like a stimulus, right? If you get a stimulus coming, it's not like you're gonna tell them send it back. You're gonna take it, still money, right? So the woman across the seas, that's their hook. That's what their game is, because they know dudes are desperate. See, a woman respects you more overseas when she see you come off the plane with your wife, your kids, a family. She respects you more because women throughout the whole world find out that could get any woman wet. See, a lot of these guys don't even understand that the whole overseas thing is a scam. You know, they made a TV show off of this shit, you know, and it's called 90 Day Fiance. Like, and even then, they're not showing prostitution per se, but you know, they're showing the game is just for desperate people. So you have a nation that everybody from the other country wants to come to. People want to come to America. They want to come to your country. So now they see you get off the plane. Such as Brazil. Brazil ain't even popping like that no more because the women started getting wise. The women are smarter now. You know, I remember in the early 2000s, late 90s when Snoop Dogg and all them was out there. You could go out there like the porn stars when they was doing all them West Coast production movies, and they was getting them girls in porn and wasn't paying them $1. You know, literally. But you can't go to Brazil now. They got a movement now where they do their own porn because they realized that it was something that people took over. But either here nor there, overseas, the women they have this array of all these men, and all the men are coming from America. They're making money from them. And you know, they gotta have feelings. You it's like anything else. If you're in America, you got all these different women coming to see you every week. You may like one or two, but at the end of the day, you're still getting your money. But men don't think like that because they're not getting no money from the woman that's coming here to America because they're not coming here. So the reality is that the whole overseas thing is a myth. Most of these guys can't get the woman here. And you know what? I always ask a dude, take a look. First of all, you got to take a look at the type of guy. Forget levels, the status of a guy. So let's just say you got a dude that's in America, in Brooklyn, and he probably is a male nurse. Let's just keep it generic, whatever. He's a male nurse. He's still working in medicine. And he can't nobody in the hospital. Nobody wants him. Nobody pays him no mind because he's just, he's a male nurse. But maybe he get online and see some incredible looking women that they look like on, overseas. Like on Instagram. So they're probably hitting them up like, wow, baby, you're so beautiful. And he's hearing this, something he never heard before. And he's going to fall in love. So it's understandable. But the reality is that he's not getting those type of women here. They're not attractive. He's not attracting them. Nobody's paying them no mind. See, guys that are doing it here, they have so many women that's available to them. Their biggest thing is who they're gonna go across the seas and take with them on a trip to a resort. Okay. That's the struggle with a guy here that's moving around and doing his thing. But if it's a thing where guys find that this accessibility is because he's frustrated because he's not appealing to the woman that he wants here. So you are what you attract, right? So if you like, status of some Maybelline 10 plus type of woman, Aisha Diaz type. You can look her up, Aisha Diaz. You can look her up on Instagram. If that's your type, and that's a great example. So look it up now. Anybody that's watching, Aisha Diaz. She's an Instagrammer that is from DR. Actually, she's from the Midwest. She moved to the Midwest. Then she lives in Jersey, up here in New York and Washington Heights. All the same. They're only like 10 minutes away from each other. And she's getting the bag. Why? Because now she's a status chick because she's so phenomenal. There's not one man that could go to DR, Brazil in 2021 and with something that looked like that. Because they're not even available now. All the women now flown all over the country. They sitting on Instagram with 500,000 followers. He can't get that. So the guy that's here, such as myself, we know where they hang out at. We know what clubs they be at. We know what restaurants we be at. We know where they be at, hot spots. They pull it up in 200,000 G63 Mercedes trucks. We're seeing that. So he wants her. Hey, I want her. And that's, for the players and the bosses, they understand, but he can't even get to that. So that frustrating mode is nobody's going to mess with him, so he has to go across seas. All-Star Weekend just happened even with COVID in Atlanta, right? Anybody that was at that All-Star Weekend, I wouldn't suggest to go to, now, but you talk about status women. First of all, the type of guys that's out there at All-Star Weekend got to be of official status. So they're attracting those type of women, whether they're in the game, whether they got game, whether they look good, and they got the finesse behind the looks, all of the above. He could be a mess. He could look with one leg and one eye. No disrespect to anybody that got that, but he still could pull it because he got the game. And that's what it's about. So the culture paved that way and they ran with it. Meanwhile, these other dudes, they didn't take advantage of that ability or that luxury. So now they're running across the seas telling me, oh, they got their little, the woman over there treat you better. I'm like, fam, that's all game, because if you could with those women and not spend $1, and I mean, when I say $1, like you bought them a coffee and you know them for 3 years and that's all you spent on it was $8. That's different, but you sending money down there because of her kids, her sick grandmother, all of the above. Even though it's $50 ain't shit for you, you still doing it. That's where you messed the game up, because she got about 100 guys, no exaggeration. She got about 100 dudes doing it here. Believe me, the first time I went to DR, I sponsored a woman. I'm gonna use the word sponsor. And I remember I met her at Sasua on the beach. Shout out to my man. What was that dude's name? He owned this restaurant. Damn. Anyway, I went out there with my boy, the black dude that spoke Spanish. His mentality was, we're gonna go out there and do our thing because there's no Americans out there. We're not gonna see no Americans like Boca Chica. This is early 2000. And we went out there, and I remember I met this woman on the beach, and I remember she was in regular clothes. I just got off the plane. I was jet lagged. Got in the car. I would never forget this as long as I live. As a matter of fact, she lives in America now. You can look her up right now on Instagram, the Mini Barbie, because she's actually here. This broad was literally stopping at different spots, picking up Western Unions. This was then. I'm in the back seat because she knew the guy that owned the bar restaurant. Because my man knew him. So she knew him, she knew the owner. So they trusted me to roll with her. I was in the back seat, slayed out. She's out there pulling up on horse spots, telling chicks, yo, but I'm talking the game, whatever. But she was going in and out, picking up Western Unions. That was the hustle. So fast forward, we got close just from that vibe. It was amazing. My man took me out there on the last minute. And I remember she was telling me there was this dude who was at this strip. I forgot. It was like a strip. Like, I haven't been to Sasua since. And I remember the strip was, there was this dude, clown from New York. I'm telling her, I'm like, yo, I'm out there with a white beater with flip-flops and cargo shorts. She come to me and she was like, baby, he wants, now, I never paid this woman $1 for sex. Straight up and down, never, right? She told me the dude came to her and was like, he would have sex with her, whatever. He tried to offer her like $50. I said, you get $150. That was then. I said, you better get $150 because there's no way in the world he getting that shit at home. He not getting that at home. So the fact that the fact that I told her that, I seen this bozo come out there with his, throwback, some white sneakers, a hat. I'm like, come on, fam, you a target, and I'm from New York. So I had to let her know, just from that basis, she was a target. He was a target off the rip, and I had to let her know, yo, go do your thing, boo, because there's no way in the world this guy would have ever pulled this off in New York. A woman like you in New York, then I told her, it's gonna cost $300 an hour. And who knows what the rate is right now, but to even get you a chick that looked like her at her peak, she was like 22 at the time. But that's just showing you how serious it was. So knowing that that's how the game was then, because it still was exclusive, the woman was fire. Because what's happening with Brazil at that time, we stopped going to Brazil because Brazil was just too far. So a lot of dudes just couldn't deal with that 13-hour plane ride. So DR was closer and the woman was lit. Internet didn't hit yet. YouTube wasn't even out. Remember, YouTube came out with 5. I think we had MySpace. And there was the only internet thing the girls was doing then was some Latina, my Dominican suck, I forgot. But even then, she didn't get on that until like 07. So it was raw. You was able to get you something crazy for nothing. And shorty fell in love on the strip. Even though I let my man bang it out, do whatever. We had threesomes, all that. We had a great time that week. I never gave her $1, not even towards the gas. So the point it was what I'm making to you is, mentally, she loved the fact that I was showing her the attention and I told her the game just on a like basis. Like, when you see a fool like that jump off the plane, do not be coming here with no damn Dominican price. You got to hit him with like at least half a New York price. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you gotta hit it. So you think like a lot of these guys, when they be saying like, the foreign countries are better, like they be lying, like it's not really better. Them niggas they be tricking.
They be tricking, man. Listen, let me tell you to check out the status of a dude. If you meet a dude now in 2021 and he told you that he used to be out in DR early 2000, him and his boys used to go out there, Boca Chica, and he's like, nah, he been there, done that. That means he official. Son was doing his thing when it meant something. But if he telling he been going out there, just ask him this one question. How long you been going out there? 2017, 2 years. Especially if you have a Southern accent. No disrespect to my Southern brothers, because that's where my mother's father's from originally. But the Southern brothers that weren't out there like that. There was like maybe one dude, and he'll be on a resort. Real dudes that was really caking up in DR. We was going to DR before the brothels. We was going out there in 2001, 2000, before 9/11. We were going to the resorts, because the resorts, you had all the women coming from all the European places. So they were out there trying to get with the brothers. Anytime a woman with brothers, they go to Caribbean islands. And of course, DR, Jamaica, all that's just the same thing. So when you're in the resort and you seeing a pack of banging ass women coming from the UK, you about to party. And all these things were happening. So all these things were coming out. And it was like, by the time the game started changing, YouTube, and then dudes are coming out there with the live videos, and they came out there with the things, and it was the wrong guy started getting up with it. So the exclusive dudes was like, hell no, I'm not going out there no more. You know, I got my neighbor out there. I ain't going no place where that nigga going. So he stopped going. So a lot of these exclusive guys now, they on some different shit. They home chilling, pandemic. They ain't fucking with the islands like that no more because too many dudes are out there doing the same shit. So now the level of women has took a plunge. You see, that's why you see now anybody sending you a video from Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica's done. That shit's finished. Nobody even go out there anymore. Anybody go to Brazil and they ain't living like them West Coast brothers, West Coast production porn stars in early 2000, they ain't gonna have nothing in their cameras like that. Nobody in Brazil is gonna be doing it like that anymore like it was. It's different now. It's gonna cost more. The women are not thirsty. It's just a whole different dynamic. So a lot of cats don't understand what has happened. So all these officials are in the cities. They in the Midwest. They on the West Coast. They all over the place now because they want to be a big Instagram star. Dudes ain't got no game, so they don't say shit to them. They scared. And the dude that got his game together, nigga don't even drive a car. He meeting girls pushing Range Rovers and all types of shit because he opening his mouth. He bossed up. He able to be a boss by opening his mouth. Come over here for a minute. And I asked, can I talk to you for a minute? When I was doing all them videos in the street, I wasn't saying, hey, how you doing? Hi, my name is Nathaniel. No, I wasn't doing none of that. I was like, yo, hold on, come over here. You, your girlfriend, come over here. I was calling couples over. Dudes with and his girl, like, yo, come over here, bro. Listen, this is what I do. By my bang, bang, bang. He like, okay, cool. He feeling good because I'm showing, even though I want his girl to really be in it, but hey, he's a couple. He cool. I'm showing him acknowledgement. We do the video and other people watch, and that's the hook. So it's the same thing with the women. That's how they eat. That's they hustle. Chicks ain't got to go to get no job or even care about having an official job if she got at least 40 dudes hitting her off. Why would she do that when she getting, do the math, $100, if a dude's giving her $100 a month, all these Western Union lovers, they're giving $100 a month. He's going to be amazing. He's from the South. He ain't never see a Latin woman look like that. He ain't never see a woman ever say he's beautiful, nevertheless, even say hello to him. And now he's going to fall in love. And the minute he comes off the plane here, he's going to say, oh, America, they ain't shit. No, because nobody's paying you no mind, bro. You're not even giving them a reason to. That's why I always ask the man, what kind of woman do you attract? Be careful with that answer because a lot of dudes don't know. Even if you attract fat, ugly women, let's just say. Like, all right, so if you attract those type of women, there's something wrong with you. I don't attract those type of women. So if you're attracting those type of women, apparently the chicks that you want ain't paying you no mind. So why is that? There's something wrong. Maybe something wrong with your cut. Maybe the way you wear your clothes. Maybe you need a tailor. Maybe you walk funny. Maybe you talk funny. Maybe you just corny. And maybe you need to work on that. Maybe you got no game or no charisma or style, and all of that doesn't acquire. So now when you go to these other countries, you don't have to have that. You don't have to be cool. You don't have to have swag. You don't have to be good looking. You don't have to have nothing but money. What else would you do? There's no type of criteria to be met across a Latin countries overseas at all. So it's crazy, man. A lot of dudes don't understand that. So it's a lot that people tend to get mixed up. We here in America, we everything is here. If you meet the average woman, right? Granted, these days they're like, I don't even have to stress coming in now because they don't even have to get a sponsor or anybody to bring them over or guide them into bringing them over because they're making more money home. So now it works better. I know one bozo that left California. Right? Okay. This dude was an official carpenter. Man, he should have been making YouTube videos with the painting and stuff. Official. Old OG brother. I look up to the dude, man, because he's a troll. I met him as a troll, but he was like one of the OG uncle dudes that's official. Right. And I never will forget this as long as I live, man. This dude left, shipped his cars over there, took his skill where carpentry that's worldwide, went over there, left everything. Left everything in California. Dude couldn't do it in Cali. and went to Colombia and moved over there right in the beginning of COVID. And he's not the most happiest person now because he's out there, everything's on lockdown or whatever's going on. But the whole point of the matter is he couldn't even get a woman on the West Coast, nevertheless. And as much as New Yorkers love the West Coast, the best looking Mexicans are on the West Coast. So we can't even imagine. Our Mexicans are decent, but their Mexicans are better. Like, it's a whole different level of Mexican woman over in California versus over here. So a lot of these things, man, people don't really realize what's in their backyard. Dudes don't understand a world traveler. Travelers that I follow, like the Frugal Traveler, these guys are all over the place, going on hikes for 30 days, climbing mountains that take 2 weeks, you know, showing lifestyle, stuff like that. But traveling to these black brothers became sex tourism. It's not the same thing. If you really about your sex game, how you not doing? There's a lot of sex communities in Florida, tons in New York, tons in Texas, all over the United States. If there's communities are going on with that, why you not part of that? So it's all because you don't know your resources, and that's what it is. Dudes got to step their game up and get more involved and realizing that this melting pot is here. These women right here just. But shout out to my Dominican homegirl. She caught a sucker. She caught a good sucker too. You should see this guy. You should see her husband. You should see her husband. I'm serious. Go. You go to Mini Barbie. I think it's Mini Barbie, something like that on Instagram. She probably got a picture of the husband. But what happened was the daughter, you know, of course, you know, the only problem here, you know, the daughter got real fat or whatever. But she had a little daughter that came here with her. But the man, he married her. And if you see this, if you see her husband, bro, if you see her husband, it is clearly why he did that. He would have, in order to get a woman here in America, it still would cost him, but he knew that he didn't have a shot. He didn't have a shot at all. So it's like, that's what he's saying, right? But he's still spending money. A woman will still deal with a guy like that, even if she's decent looking. But in order to really wait, he don't have to have nothing but just show up, literally walk off the plane, looking terrible, boom, look what he got. So why would you want something that anybody can do like that? So she took advantage of the same situation, and now she's in America cheating all over the fucking place, going nuts. So she lost it now. She goes home back and forth, but she'll never, this is her words, I will never move back to that dump. That's just what it is. That's our home, but
what she said.
That's what she said. She never will move back there. She'll visit, but she's in America. You can't tell her shit now. She's here. So man, tell everybody, man, it was a great interview. We definitely got to do it. I mean, it's been like years you've been trying to plan this, man, and just we got to do this again. This was so fun, man. You even taught me a few things, man. I thought I had some game, man. I'm about to use some of that, man. I'm about to, hey, come here. You know what I mean? You bought me something? Yeah. So man, tell everybody, man. Yeah, it was some good game. That was some good game. Tell everybody, man, what if they come subscribe to your channel, man, what are they gonna learn, man? You know, like what kind of stuff should they be looking out for if they subscribe to your channel? When you subscribe to my channel, AskNathianiel, I used to always say, and I'm going to stress this, it's more than just a lifestyle. So the lifestyle was showing what we have here, the amenities in the city, all the different cultures and races. I grew up around all that, so I don't know what it is to grow up just around all blacks or all whites. I grew up around everybody. All my friends was from different countries, mothers walking around with things around their heads and cooking squirrels and all types of shit. That's what it was. But one thing that you're going to learn from my channel is you're going to learn how amazing the world is from the perspective of your country, from this beautiful country. You're going to learn game. You're going to learn confidence, most important. Your confidence is going to change because all this stuff that's accessible is right here and nobody's taking advantage of it. It's almost like, yo, look, this is all right here. You're like, I didn't know this was here. Yeah, it's here. Have a good time and take advantage of it. You're going to learn the mode of what game is versus when your money has to do the talking. You're going to learn that you don't have to go as far and travel as far. Yes, it's great to have a woman that you can go travel with. Learn to go and travel, go on a resort. See what it feels like, man. Exclusively. So when you see these celebrities chilling, they be getting pampered. You know, anybody could go rent a damn little, what's the thing called? O'Shea, with the houses that you could rent?
Airbnb?
Airbnb. You know, Airbnb is a thing that kind of desensitized men, because it didn't show them that when you go on vacation, it's vacation. I want somebody cleaning everything. And I'm talking my room. I want my accommodations. I want drinks brought to me at all given times, 24/7. I want to be able to complain if I don't like the way my room smells. I can flip it. And I got tons of women on the resort. Tons of women on the resort because I got a bad shorty with me. Whatever. But one thing that you're going to learn with this channel is more than just a lifestyle. It's a movement. So when I created the movement called Boss Up, all these dudes, MGTOW and Save Yourself Black Woman and all that bullshit. We don't do none of that. Like, it's not no anti-women's site. Your game is gonna be up. We got a big trip going to England, to the UK next year, 2000, sponsored by a woman in England. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be amazing. That's gonna be dope. 2022. I almost said 2021. Forgive me, in 21. But that's what you're gonna learn on my channel. You're gonna learn how to approach a woman, how to realize that you can go 10 minutes away from your house without getting online and filling out some bullshit nonsense because a woman dating online. We don't do that here. We talk about the approach. You meet her at the supermarket, how you meet her on the line, the cashier. If she's not the cashier, she's online. Help her to that Range Rover. Help her grab a little bag, not a pocketbook, but, help her out with a shopping cart. Don't give her no card and just step off. That shit don't work. It's going in the garbage. You got to be able to say, hey, listen, darling, like, you got all this stuff you're struggling here. You sure? Listen, I'll help you. She may say, no, I'm right. No, I got you. You know what I mean? There's no problem here. Take the car back, put it back. Like, show the love. You know what I'm saying? Y'all may call it simping, but we call it pimping. It's a whole different situation. Simping is some shit that failures produce. That's what they call it. Not everybody use the word but a real player knows when he uses the word, it's a total different layout. But on this channel, you're going to learn everything from the grain. How to feel comfortable about yourself, your hygiene, your teeth. Have you been to a dentist? Maybe you don't floss often. That's why your breath probably smell a little crazy. Maybe that's the reason why women ain't been messing with you. There's all types of different situations. Knowing that when we was going to these countries, we were going to get manicures and pedicures, no homo, but we was going there getting that because we was throwing out little flip-flops on to make sure that we was good, and we walked on it with carry-on luggage instead of walking out there feeding everybody in the family. You ain't got to do that, From a wise man, I'll say this too before I leave. But a wise man said this, I never forgot, from DR. Actually, my friend's neighbor. He said, if you could tell a woman, when you could tell a woman you are a poor man and she still deals with you, then you know you're good. And that's just the reality, man. So boss up. Don't let these women tell you nothing else. What I say goes. I'm a man. You're the queen. You're the princess, whatever you want to be, but I'm a man. And, if a woman ain't going to listen to you, don't fuck with her. It's just that simple. That goes for the United States, out of town. What I say goes. And that's what dudes got to realize, man. Like, that's your choice. If you want to deal with it, that's just the reality. So, people got to realize that that's what we're losing here. So that's what you're going to learn on Ask Nathaniel. Ask any question. Don't be ashamed. We go live 3-4 times a week. Cop in. But if you're coming at me trying to challenge the whole Nathaniel, it's only me. And Lucario, what's the other dude's name? My man, Minister? You can do
Mr. Jab, yeah.
Yeah,
I can't wait for that collab. That's gonna be crazy.
If you're really official, come to New York for a weekend. If you official, come to New York. Come to Washington Heights. Go to Dyckman Avenue. Go to 207th Street. We could go to Fordham Road in the Bronx. If you could meet one woman there, and pull her, you could. If nobody paid you no mind, this is the problem. That's why what's going to happen. You're probably going to have to stay where you at. We teach you how to come out of that. You know what I mean? Trust me. Whatever Dominican woman you see here, I know something to look 10 times better. Because if she's over there, by the time she get to the Bronx, she's going to be polished. Don't let her get to the Washington Heights. She's going to be unstoppable. So y'all see poor Dominicans, poor Colombians, poor people from Brazil. We don't see that here. All the Dominicans and people that's where they popping, they getting money. Even at the lowest level, she doing hair in her house is still making $150 a head, depending on what she doing with braids and stuff. So they hustlers here, they get their bread. Dominican women are money hungry, but they're about their paper. But you're gonna learn all the game on how to survive in these streets, because whatever goes on here on my channel represents America. If there's some bullshit that's going on, you're gonna see the same bullshit going on through the States. Women love a man that is in charge. Don't believe that. So boss up, man up is for the men. Boss up, It's for the ladies. Same thing with you ladies. You let these dudes use you. Listen, you got to know how to use a dude. And a guy got to know how to use a woman. If that's going to be the case. But if you're going to respect me, you my woman, you stay in your place, and he stays in his place. It's enough for everybody out here, more than enough, especially for the man. So boss up and regain your structure as a man. These brothers ain't break all this in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. The Michael Landons, the James Evans Jr., the James Averys of all these shows. They didn't break all these modes for us to be soft. Stop being a bitch and let a woman know you ain't going for what you go for. If she don't listen to you, she not for you. I gotta be in charge, and that's what it is. That's it. So that's what you're gonna learn.
So guys, it's been a great show, man. Been trying to do this for like 3 years. Got my man on here. We definitely gonna do it again real soon. I know it's gonna be a pretty good video. So go check us comment out. First comment pinned to the top. AskNathianiel. Check him out. And again, guys, subscribe at the bell. The buffoonery makes it an all-time high. We out.